running it back. Sam Hubbard.
Jennings is going to go all the way. When it comes down, the Bengals are champions.
Now the Bengals Super Bowl chances rest on his right foot. The kick is up. It is good.
Hooday Bengal fans, here we gather, talking football back for year 5. We're covering all things Hooday Nation. We're glad you joined us here tonight. Special guests, past and present players. You never know who you might see. One thing that's for sure, it's all things Bengals. And it all goes back to charity. We at Talking Football want to thank you for joining us for the show tonight. By the fans, for the fans, until the very end. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends.
What's up, everybody? At 2-4, we got the dub in New York City. A lot of us just got back yesterday, man. But what a great game! A lot of stuff to get through tonight. We're going to do a lot of talk about the Giants game, the Browns game coming up. We got a charity duck race. We got David Fulcher and Judy Fulcher coming on with us. We got 36 ducks in that race tonight to be a lot of fun. Mo Egger from ESPN 1530 and 700 WOW will be on with us this evening. A lot of stuff to dig into tonight, guys. A lot of fun. So make sure you are ready to ask questions. We got some trivia for you guys tonight. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but we are missing somebody, Tom. Where's our buddy James at tonight?
Well, not to worry about James. You know, he's a civic-minded guy. And we just don't talk football here. We also talk Cincinnati and push Cincinnati. As everybody knows, Blink is coming back to town. And James, with Blink expanding into Covington, is working with the organizers of Blink to pick the proper buildings and the proper works of art to be displayed in Covington. So once it got dark tonight, James is out. James is out with them. You know, he's quite the Renaissance man. You know, it's just not football with James like us. I mean, he's into art and music and everything else. And he's out with the organizers of Blink, picking out the right buildings and the right works of art to be displayed.
What a selfless character that guy is. Just always.
Can we agree he's one of a kind?
I mean, I thought what Tony does was special, but with James,
next level stuff there with James.
Tony, maybe one day you'll be as.
That's who I aspire to be. Don't you guys realize that? I want to be like James, so I'm inspiring. He's my idol.
Oh man. Let's get into it. We got a lot of stuff to get into. We're going to try to save as much detailed sports talk as we can for the Bengals when we get to Mo Eggers. Say about 8:40ish. He's picking up his daughter from dance lessons, so we'll get to more detail with him tonight. Trying to figure out about. Let's go and start off with this damn. Where do I want to start at here? Oh, just let's go and kick it off the Eagles game, guys. Everybody probably heard the Eagles game got pushed or is going to be now at 1 o'clock, not 4:25. I think was the original time. And I think I read this, right, that they wanted to do that. So I think 70% more of the country is going to be able to see that game at 1 o'clock versus 4:25 is what I thought I read from Adam Schefter. But a lot of upset fans with that. I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the 1 o'clock game.
Fan base seems to be split. I mean, you read it online. Some people are thinking that it's almost like a downgrade to put it at 1 o'clock, and other people are thinking it's a flex for more viewership. So it's kind of split to what it's. Why they do it? What's the purpose? Is that what they said? 70%.
Yep, they did it.
100% of the country will be watching the game. Yep.
They did it so Washington and Chicago could get the 4:20 kickoff. You know, two monster markets. So
I don't mind it, but the whiteout would look really cool under the lights at nighttime.
It wouldn't be under the lights at 4 o'clock, but.
Oh, 4 o'clock. Okay, yeah, fair ball. It's 4 o'clock game. Yeah. My bad.
But, you know, I read a couple different articles, but there's actually more eyes will be on that game at 1 o'clock than it would be at 4:25. So I'm good with that. I'm okay with 1 o'clock games.
Let me ask you guys something, and this goes back to the Sam White era, and I think he put it really well. And he said, well, he didn't mind a primetime game or a 4 o'clock game or whatever. He felt that not just the football players, but football fans, almost their body clocks are ready to go off Sunday at 1 o'clock. It just seems natural, feels natural to play a game at 1 o'clock.
Brian raises a good point. This is why I said it would look better under the lights. It gets dark up here at 4 o'clock.
You're in the Eastern time zone, damn it. Let's talk a little bit about Joe Burrow here before we get into a few other things here. But Joe is absolutely killing it. But let's talk about this. I saw this today in the comment section. Let's take a poll here, Jamie. Your favorite Joe Burrow nickname? Somebody sent this to me. Joe Shiesty and Joey Franchise are kind of my two go-tos. I'm kind of more of a Joe Shiesty. Tom, where do you think you're a Joey Franchise guy, right?
I'm a Joey Franchise guy. I like that. I like the tie-in when Ken Anderson was Freddie Franchise.
Yeah, I'm Joey Franchise. I like the Joe Burr too. I just like cold. But yeah, Joey Franchise is probably my top one.
Yeah, in here, Joey Franchise is by far my favorite.
Good. Let's talk about. He's putting together one hell of a year, guys. I mean, just right now, wrong stat. So I got four slides to show you guys. So passer rating in the NFL through week 6, he's leading the NFL in passer rating, 110.3, and then completion percentage over 70% of his passes, second to Jaden Daniels, who's having a hell of a year so far as a rookie. And Burrow's up there again in passing yards. Again, it's pretty incredible when you look at the first game or two that he had, right? And then number 2 there, passing touchdowns. And he's coming on strong. I can see him being top in all these categories coming up here. But, guys, we know Joe is Joe, but that offensive line is helping Joe out there a lot, man. He's giving him a lot of time to throw. But, damn, he's looking pretty damn sharp, guys. He really is.
I know we want to talk about the game when Mo's on, but it's just like I think you made the post on the weekend, Jimmy. You take this week's defense and last week's offense and put it together, and that team's going to be unstoppable. So I'm hoping we see that against the Eagles.
I'm with you.
Or against the Browns. Against the Browns first. Let's do it against the Browns first, and then we'll see it against the Eagles.
Yeah, we definitely are back in that rotation where we can't seem to get all 3 phases together. The offense has been killing it the last 3 weeks where the defense has kind of lagged behind. And, with getting some of the key players back, we saw the defense come up and help us maintain that win and the Giants.
Yeah, there's some things going on up in Cleveland. With that being said, guys, it's one of my favorite rivalries. But, I mean, and this is one of the reasons.
Next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, and get them out of here. You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
Boy, that doesn't give you goosebumps, man. Going all the way back around the beginning, if it wasn't for the city of Cleveland and Art Bondell, we wouldn't have football here in Cincinnati with Paul Brown. That history there, that wasn't even the beginning of this rivalry with Sam Weiss. This thing goes back many, many years in the mid-late 60s. But the Bengals at home, I mean, overall record against the Browns is 53-48. At home, the Bengals are 33-18. They have a losing record on the road with them. But, guys, I mean, Amari Cooper just got traded today, guys. Nick Chubb just got announced as, coming back this week. So a lot of news from the city up north, Tom.
Nick Chubb, after watching that horrible play where he was injured last year, I'm happy he's back. And he is a very special player, despite the fact he has a tendency to tear us up. But, he gives them something. He gives them a lot. And he gives them what their quarterback needs, which is going to be a powerful running game. But hopefully we can take advantage of some of the deficiencies they do have on all the other parts of the ball and keep their offense bottled up and just keep that defensive line and Myles Garrett off of Joe Burrow. Don't turn the ball over, and we should be fine. But it's going to be challenging. It's never easy up there. It's never easy inside the division.
I mean, with Amari Cooper being traded today, that much more of a emphasis on the run game. Obviously, with Nick Chubb and whoever else is in the backfield, man. This is you think they're stacking the box all day against this team Sunday, but we'll see.
You know, I can't stand the Browns, obviously, like most Bengals fans can't. But I find it interesting though that I can enjoy watching and even cheering along. You know, seeing how Baker's doing in Tampa. You see Flacco came in, what he did for them, and then you see him going off in Indy. Obviously, we cheered against Flacco for many years when he was with the Ravens, but it's just interesting to see like the Deshaun Watson deal. I think we all knew when that happened that was going to be looked upon as probably one of the worst deals in NFL history, and it's definitely coming to fruition. And he's a guy that he can move on to another team. And I just don't think I could cheer for that guy.
No,
like just watch a game and want to see him do well. Have you guys watched Baker in Tampa? Like
he's actually fun to watch.
He's fun to watch. It's exciting, right? And then Flacco, what he's doing at his age, just you have to respect what the guy can do at his age. But Deshaun, like no matter where he goes, I just don't see people really cheering for him to do well. That contract was just such a big goose egg.
Yeah.
Well, it still is.
Yeah, let's do this. I think David's in the room right now. David's main reason coming on here is the charity duck race. We'll let Dave talk about that here in a second. But we're going to bring Dave on since we're talking about
Jimmy. Before we bring Dave on, can I just add one thing that I don't know if anybody knew if they watched the broadcast. You didn't watch the broadcast, Tony. You didn't watch the broadcast. Jamie may have picked this up. I don't know if anybody knew. Daniel Jones, the Giants quarterback, he came off a bad injury last year. I don't know if anybody caught that, the 128 times that Mike and Chris talked about that during the game, including, I think, after Chase Brown's touchdown. I think that was the third thing they mentioned. But God love Chris, but we got to get him into rehab when he does Bengal games.
I did not hear that at all, man. That's funny.
Yeah, 158 times that was mentioned. Bengals pick up a first down. Well, Daniel Jones, he's coming back off a serious leg injury. What do you think there, Mike? Mike with the Bengals, they've won one game of their franchise history with 10 points. Whoops. Slow down, Chase Brown. Please come back. Oh, darn. So
you leave Chris alone, damn it. He's in Northern Kentucky and he's a Cincinnati at heart. He's trying to make people think he's not a Bengals fan.
He's trying to show
he's got people to answer to. He has people to answer to. I know. We love Chris. He's been a great guest, but let's come on. We heard you the first 156 times, Chris. It
was a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Tom gets fired up in his old age, man.
Someone who watched it at home, it was a lot.
Well, how about Jamie after Chase Brown scores the touchdown? And he says, you got to give the Bengals offensive line and Chase Brown some credit. But, boy, I really respect what this Giants defense has done tonight. And then we listened to 2 or 3 minutes of it. I was like, oh, my. It's my fault for not syncing my TV for Dan and Dave. We've got the best play-by-play and color man in the business. And, best analyst, and I didn't sync him. But I just wanted everybody to know that, Daniel Jones is coming off a serious injury. And you got to respect that Giants defense after they gave up the winning run. Yeah. So let's get David in here.
Anyway, yeah. Let's. Are you doing an intro or am I bringing him on?
Tony, go ahead and introduce him.
Yeah, so we got our first duck race for the year, and we have Dave and Judy Fulcher. They are going to join us here from their foundation that they have on MS. So let's bring them on.
Dave, what's going on, big dog?
Hey, what's up, guys? Man, you guys are funny. Oh, my God.
Hey, Dave, we didn't know you were coming on. We thought Judy was coming on. We want to talk to Judy.
She was taking a nap, man, and just got from her nap, and it's like 8:15 at night.
We got to keep it. We got to keep it down, Dave. Don't wake her up, man.
She just told me, honey, tell the guy I can't be there.
Well, Dave, before we get into the duck race, man, we'd love to hear some. Your experience with the Cleveland Browns, Paul Brown, Mike Brown, the history, the rivalry. So it's Cleveland week. I know it's a lot of younger fans don't understand the history here with this, man. So talk a little bit about some of your stories with the rivalry with the Cleveland Browns.
Well, first and foremost, when we talk about Cleveland and Cincinnati, you tell the wives and the kids, don't bother me for the week. I'm going to sleep in the basement. I'm going to eat bread and crackers and some peanut butter and jelly. I don't want to be bothered. And this is the Battle of Ohio. You throw the records out, you throw good, bad, and ugly play out, and it's going to be a smash mouth game. I'm looking forward to it. I wish I could come out of retirement and play, because when it comes to Cleveland, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati.
So tell some of the stories. I mean, I'm sure you have some stories. Paul Brown, and before you guys played the Browns, share a story or two.
Well, I can tell you one good story. When Paul Brown was around, I remember the week of practice of the Browns. He would come in and he would just look at everybody. He wanted to coach. He wanted to talk. He didn't want nobody saying anything. And he said that the only thing that matters in this game is kicking their tail. I don't want no excuses. If you're not ready to play against the Browns, I don't want to talk to you. And I remember we had our first meeting on Monday. Obviously, we come in Monday. And when he would come in, he would sit down and talk to us. And he'd say, if you're ready for this team, then get out of my meeting room. Let me tell you, it was, he was, I would say, he could punch us. If he could be physical, he would punch everybody in the face, because Cleveland was not his favorite. That word, he didn't like that word coming out of your mouth. As a player, we took that on the field. It meant something. But I'm telling you, mass respect for Paul Brown. I'm pretty sure he's probably listened to this conversation and saying, Ultra, you're saying the right words. Let's go out there and kick some tail. And I'm saying tail. You know what he wanted to say. Let's go out there and kick some tail and get it done.
Tom?
Well, I've got a question for David, but it's outside of the rivalry and outside of the Bengals. Where are you sitting Saturday at noon at Nippert Stadium?
Oh gosh, man, that's a. I will tell you this, and I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm a little bit upset with Arizona State, due to the fact that I talked to them about getting tickets way, and I have not heard from them. So I had to go buy tickets from UC for the game. So I believe I'm sitting in the end zone with 20 Arizona State folks that are coming in town. And I thought about wearing my Arizona State number 7 jersey to the game, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to wear a UC shirt. I'm going to wear something Arizona State, but I'm sitting, I believe we're in on the 20-yard line, one of the end zones. I'm not sure if it's I don't know which end zone. It's the 20-yard line. I think we're probably 20 rows up, and I'm sitting with a group of Arizona State folks that are coming in town. But yeah, Arizona State made me mad, man. I didn't want free tickets. I just wanted to get some tickets for the family, and they never responded. So go Bearcats.
Oh, we're not. Hey,
I'll bet Montez Burfict got tickets.
No, I didn't call my Burfict. Heard that, he probably would have come out of retirement and hit me in the mouth.
So, David, go back to the Cleveland rivalry real quick. What were some of what was one of your, I don't know, is there one memorable game against the Browns that you could think about, you could talk about a little bit?
Well, there's quite a few. One of them, I think, we played the Browns in Cleveland, and our offense had a bad day that day, and I was blitzing Bernie Kosar. And the fullback went to block me, and Bernie, throw sidearm. He threw the ball sidearm. He was trying to get it to the flat, and I think it was Western Slaughter he was trying to throw it to, but he wound up throwing it to right in my face mask. And I caught it, ran it back for a touchdown, about 25-yard touchdown. I think that was the only points that was scored in that game, because they would have shut us out something like 24-0 or 24-7. But I remember after I ran into the end zone, something passed me in the dog pound. It was bigger than a dog bone, but I had no idea what it was until I looked on the ground, and somebody threw a can of beer at me.
Full can?
A can of beer was thrown in the game, thrown at me after I scored that touchdown. And I realized after I scored the touchdown how I saw the film later that you can slow it down and you can see a can of Budweiser beer being thrown at me.
That sounds like a challenge for Jimmy. He'll go back and find the clip.
Oh, yeah, we got to find that.
I'm telling you, it was It was. I thought it was a dog bone, biscuit. They were throwing biscuits at us, dog bone biscuits, but it was a can of beer, and it wasn't even open. Can you imagine that hit me in the helmet or hit me? But that's how.
Even in Pittsburgh, they drink the beer first.
You know what? If I drunk beer, that would have been pretty nice. Cool. Just go pick the beer up, open it up, and right there in the end zone.
Shoved it. Yep. That would have been classic. All right. Well, David, let's go and get this charity duck race going. We haven't done one of these in quite a while. We wanted to make sure that as much as you do for the fan base and us, and we wanted to make sure we took care of you this year, buddy, in one of these charity duck races. I'll let Tony kick this charity duck race off for us.
Yeah, so David, as you know, we do this duck race, a virtual duck race, and we had 36 people buy into it. So that's going to earn $900 towards your foundation to help out where we can. And we got Tom, who is the master caller of this duck race. He's going to narrate this for us as we kick it off. And whoever is the lucky winner will be able to receive that SWAT team football as well as that SWAT team pylon that we have. And with that being said, Jamie, whenever you are ready, and Tom.
Yeah.
Tom hasn't practiced in a while, man. Let's see how this goes.
I'm a little nervous. I haven't done one of these in a while. Okay, we see all the names here. We got 36. Just going to go down the list here so you can make sure you see your name is in there. All right.
You see those names anyhow, but there's 36 names there, we promise.
All right. We're going to go 1 minute, right?
Yep, 1 minute.
All right. Here we go.
And we're off to help MS. They charge out pretty evenly. We got the regular standard duck, Mark Thomas, kind of coming out, setting the early pace, which is truly something you don't want to do.
Yeah, you do definitely want to be in first at the beginning.
Like that, the Santa Claus duck is looking pretty good.
Santa Claus duck, I like that.
They are really bunched up. I wonder if we could have a challenge.
Someone's going to break out here. I like the London police officer cap in the back there, Paula.
Yeah, he's kind of in the back, though.
Oh, here comes somebody.
You got the pink duck. J.R. Ruth, the Viking duck. Looking pretty good.
Jerry Blackwell, J.R. Ruth there.
Like that. Who's it? They're really bad. Superman duck I've never seen before, but
I've never seen this break. Oh, someone's going to break
out. We got a charger with 5 seconds to go.
Here comes Susan
Huber, the snail duck.
Boom.
Congratulations. You win a SWAT team pylon, a SWAT team football, but more than anything else, you set the pace to help all the research and funding against MS. So, Susan, thank you and congratulations. Please get a hold of us.
I just got notified the Susan Huber's duck will be tested mandatory drug testing tomorrow morning.
So David, talk about again. We know the story behind this, David, but talk about why this MS Foundation is important to you, buddy.
Well, first of all, can I add something to the winner there? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jacket that I'm wearing, one of Judy's blings. I like to find out her size, whoever it is, and add this jacket to the total there, if that's okay.
Wow.
We will get that done, man. That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's awesome.
I'll pass it on to you guys, and you can give it to whoever needs to get it. Okay.
That'll work, man. I think Susan will be at the tailgates the 27th as well. So maybe you can hand it to her. That'd be awesome.
She comes up, just introduce her to me, and I'll give her one of these jackets.
That's it. That's awesome. Thanks, David. That's awesome.
So just to let you guys know, and it's very, very dear to my heart because in 1997, my wife Judy was driving down the highway 71 on her way to work at Pfeiffer, and we live in Kings Island, and she had a sharp pain hit her in her face. She had no idea what it was, but she was coherent enough to get off the highway. She got off at Pfeiffer. I'm sorry, at Fields Erdel. And when she got off at Fields Erdel, she called me, and obviously I'm hearing her distress, crying, and something's wrong. I can't feel the left side of my face. And then I said, "Did you dial 911?" She said, "Yeah." And I dialed you. And then I heard the phone drop. Now she's really screaming. Well, then she went completely paralyzed and no idea why she was paralyzed. When I got there, they were taking her out of the car, put her in the ambulance, and they took her to Bethesda North. Followed her there, and when we got there, it probably 8 hours later, we're still in the hospital and had no idea what was going on. One of the doctors met me and said that we think she had a stroke. So when I was looking at her, I was looking for stroke-like symptoms. You know, sometimes your face draws up and something. I have no idea, but I didn't see that. And we were probably in the hospital for probably a week or two. I don't know how long we were in there, but no idea what was going on. So as time went on, they brought in a neurologist and talked to her and took some CAT scans of her brain, and he kind of put them up next to another one, and that was MS, but he had no idea. He didn't diagnose her with MS. Looks like she's probably had some kind of Guillain-Barré or transverse myelitis, and I'm like, what the hell is that? My wife she wasn't in any pain because she couldn't feel anything, but we had no idea what it was. So, you know, months later goes by, and one of the neurologists came up and told me that I believe your wife has multiple sclerosis. And I said, what the hell is that? I still don't know what it is. Started explaining what it was. It kind of messed with her motor skills, and her face was kind of sagging on one side, which kind of made me feel like it was a stroke. But it took a while. It took us a while to figure out what it was. And finally, after 5 or 6 months treatment, learn how to walk again, they diagnosed her with multiple sclerosis. And they told her, well, what we could do is we can give you this medicine to take once a day, this medicine to take once a week, and this medicine to take 5 times a month. And Judy started taking it, and it was making her sick. So she stopped taking it. And doctor said, ma'am, you probably won't live long enough if you don't put this medicine in your system. Well, you're giving her 10 different medicines for 4 different results, and we had no idea what it was, but it made her sick, so she stopped taking it. We prayed about it, and with prayer, and people that are listening, you know, you leave it in God's hand, he's going to take care of his business. And Kayla's 29 now. Judy had it when Kayla was 18 months, and she's been living a good life for the last 29 years. And grace of God, and for the people that support us and the things that we do, you guys and everybody that I know, my wife is, she's been blessed, and God had he has his hand on her. And what we've done in the last 25 years is that we've teamed up with a lady by the name of Sharon Rowe, who has MS. She started the, oh God, I just forgot it. It went crazy. Boy, I tell you, all these concussions in football, man, I'm losing my mind. Sharon put together an organization, Gift of Hope. There we go. Gift of Hope. I can hear my wife in the other room saying, Gift of Hope, Gift of Hope. The Gift of Hope is a program ran by Sharon Rowe, who 99% of the people, if not 100% of these folks in the Gift of Hope have MS. And Sharon will give us 10 to 15 names throughout the year that allow us to do everyday shopping for these families. So all the money that we raise, we give it right back to these families. And I feel like God has put me in a position to not just play football, but he's put me in a position to be a spokesman or on a pedestal to help families that have MS. So over 300 something families over the last 20 something years that we do everyday shopping for. And at the end of the year, we will get 5 or 6 of those families, and we will go to our neurologist down in Norwood, and we will have those families come to the office, and they have no idea why they're coming, and we will give them a gift basket with $1,000 to $1,500 worth of stuff inside that basket, or that bag, and we would give that to them so they can have a successful Christmas. And all the people that have donated to us, that money goes directly into those people's bags, whether it's gift cards, toiletries, clothing, something that they need that they can't buy because of the MS. And Judy and I are just grateful that we have people like you guys that support us, and people across the country that give. So that's where our monies go to. And we're listen, man, I'm tackling MS, and I'm not tackling the player. So we are excited about what our foundation does. Futures for Life is something that people can go to on our website and look at things that we get, and like the jackets, you know, the mugs that I've got made for people. I've got a bunch of these. I got to give you guys one of them. The David Fulcher mug. There's a whole bunch of shots of me on it, but we're just excited, man, that we have a platform that we can help those people that are affected by MS.
Well, David, you've got another $900 towards that cause, and everybody that's watching right now, I know not everybody can get down to the tailgate. I know we'll have several thousand people to tailgate every week for home, and Dave and Judy have a booth set up there every week. So if you want to help, you can go to the website. But if you're at the tailgate, go out of your way to go see Judy. Judy's a beautiful person. I love her to death. I know we've known you guys for a long time, David, and we're all kind of the part of the Married Up Club, and you're president of that club, the Married Outkick Your Coverage Club, David. So
I knew that 20, it'd be 30 years now. I knew that. Yeah, I was playing on a team that I used to tackle people, but when they tell me I outkick my coverage, I say, you know what, man, that's okay with me, man. I'm glad I'm not a punter. I can go down and tackle. I'll kick in my coverage because I got a beautiful wife, man, and beautiful soul.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on, buddy, and Tony will take care of. He'll get in touch with you after we get that information, Tony, about the winner tonight, and hopefully I'd love for that person to be able to just you give that jacket that's jacket to her in person. So
I would give it to her in person, and I will be at every tailgate that you put out there, man. And I wish I wasn't doing a lot now. I'm starting to radio and TV people are starting to approach me and asking me to do some things. I'm working with Spectrum now. I do the post-game show after every game. It's kind of hard to be out of town. I just started it when I went to Carolina, so I missed the Carolina post-game show, a pregame or post-game show, but I'm doing that now. So I'm traveling on the road with you guys, man. I'm telling you, that Carolina tailgate, that was the finest. You've done a lot of them, bro, but that was the finest tailgate I've ever been to. And the people in Cincinnati are traveling and following you guys. And I'm telling you, man, they deserve a championship. Cincinnati deserves a championship. And don't count them out, man. I told people last week, the best 1-4 football team is Cincinnati, and they're going to get better.
Yep. Tony, how do you want to close out the charity conversation here with David? You're on mute, buddy. Sorry.
Appreciate it, David, for you coming on. And like Jimmy said, looking forward to getting that jacket to Susan. Just wanted to give a quick update with the $900 that we earned for David. Our total for the year is at $119,500. So we're coming up on $120,000 for the year. So again, thank you to all of Who Dey Nation and Bengal Nation and all those that support us in our charity efforts. And looking forward to continuing our effort at our next home tailgate with the Eagles at our whiteout game. So looking forward to it.
Hey, David, like you said a little bit, man, the big man upstairs has put us in a position and to use this platform to help others. And we're going to do this as long as we can, man. And it's very rewarding. And just a tailgate, social media and a tailgate, man. We've been able to parlay this in to help other folks, man. So I love it. Just absolutely love it. But Dave, we love you being part of it too, man.
You know what makes it easy though, Jim, is, all of us, we're all touched with something. I work in the justice system at Hamilton County and Butler County Jail, where I teach life skills, talking to these guys. And, I was blessed. A lot of those people that I walk in there and talk to, man, they're no different from me. They're no different from me. It's all about a choice. Just like we do these tailgates. We do these tailgates, man. It ain't us trying to look pretty. We just, it's a big family. I consider you guys my brothers from another mother. I might be a little bit darker, maybe a little bit taller, but we're all on the same path of working and taking care of business. And when you can do that, nothing else matters, man. And I think that's why, I find myself getting out there early in the morning. I could be tired early Sunday morning, but it's just a simple fact that I can sit down and talk to someone who probably thought that, football players, they're so busy, they don't have time to talk. A little bit different today than it was 30 years ago. But I'm not going to change. Football hasn't changed me. What it's done for me is it's just made me more humble, and I appreciate the love and support. And I'm here 24/7 for anybody.
Well, brother, we appreciate you being with us. Tell Judy we love her, and tell Kayla we said what's up, and we'll see you here soon, I'm sure.
All right, man. Take care, guys, and I'm glad that I was on the show with y'all.
All right, man. See you.
Thank you, David. Good day.
See y'all. Who they all day.
You know, I don't think a lot of people have heard that story from David before, so it's kind of good for him to share that. There's people down there, that see David Fulcher writing or buying an earring that Judy makes or something like that. Going to a good cause, man. Going to a good cause. We got Mo Eggers is not in the room. We got another probably 5 minutes before he pops on, but I did want to throw out. We have no prize for you for this, but it's a trivia question. So be ready. Do not Google this. Do not look it up. This rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns, one of the best in the NFL, in my opinion. Not even close. One of the best. Who scored 1970? Who scored the Bengals' first touchdown in this rivalry? Who scored for the Bengals? I can give you a hint. It was an away game. It was in Cleveland. It was week 4. Don't look it up. Who do you think scored the first touchdown in this rivalry for the Cincinnati Bengals? We all know on the screen. It was not Jamar Chase. It was not Joe Burrow. 1970. So type those in, Jamie, as they pop them in there, man, and see if you can pop them up. Let's see what kind of guesses these folks have for us. So
Paul Blanton says, a whole bunch coming in here.
No.
Paul Robinson.
Good guess. No.
Greg Cook.
Nope.
Yeah, not 1970. Unfortunately, Greg was about done.
Good guess, Lisa, but no. We'll keep them going there. Just keep guessing. Who scored the Bengals' first touchdown in this rivalry in 1970? And while we wait for the correct answer, we'll talk about a few other things. Blink Cincinnati starts this week, and you go to social media and look that up. As we talked about earlier, James is still over in Covington right now. I think he's trying to get the light show on his condo or something over there. I'm not sure, but I saw something I can't really share the details of, but I want to tell you, if you go to Blink, Charlie Joyner is not the answer either. Good guess, Paul. Just keep an eye on the Kroger building. That's all I'm going to tell you. If you've ever been to Blink, if you've never been to Blink, and I didn't check the weather, but I'm going down Thursday. We're going to have dinner.
Guys, for someone that's in Canada, what the hell is Blink?
Oh, my bad. I made the assumption.
It was like a Blink 182 concert there for a minute. I'm going, wait a minute. This doesn't make. Why is James looking for art at a Blink 182 concert?
So Blink every year is Sam Weiss is not correct either. Hold it right there. Hold it right there. We have a winner. Jess Phillips. I knew Brandon might get that. Jess Phillips on a 2-yard touchdown scored that touchdown. So can't remember who it was. The play before that, our tight end. It wasn't Trumpy at the time. I can't remember who it was. It might have been a receiver. Slipped and fell at the 2-yard line.
I think it was Eric Crabtree.
It was Crabtree. It was Eric Crabtree. So he would have scored, walked in, but he kind of slipped and fell in that messed up field up in Cleveland. Very next play, Jess Phillips goes into the end zone for a 2-yard touchdown. So good job, guys. Good guesses, all good guesses. But Blink, Jamie, I don't even know how to explain this. There'll be dozens and dozens of buildings in downtown with lit up artwork all over it. It's interactive. A lot of it's interactive artwork. Just buildings will be lit up. There's different sections from all the way from a little bit north of OTR all the way into Kentucky. It's amazing. I mean, the light shows are unbelievable. Tom, you guys have been down here before, I think, haven't you?
Yeah. So for me, it's like the Arts Wave. It's a big production for Cincinnati to celebrate their art history, and they just do it with lights and neon lights, and it's all throughout the city, and it's pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to going down there this weekend as well.
Yeah. Most of the murals, the city has some of the best murals in the country. Some of the murals will be lit up, and it looks like the murals are coming to life. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Tom, you've been down, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's something unique and special for the city, classy works of art and so forth. So, and now expanded to both sides of the river, which is why, James is over there working himself half to death, doing his part.
It's Covington James is his new nickname. We're getting him a jersey, a Bengal jersey, Covington James. So, but
just shine a flashlight on the condo.
Yeah, what does he do? He does the finger puppets with the light.
Yeah.
Bunny
Shadow
rabbits.
Shadow puppets.
Oh
Yeah, gosh. Shadow puppets.
Yeah, make it. I think it's Thursday through Sunday. I think, but I know I'm going down Thursday that first night. The weather looks good, knock on wood. But yeah, get down there and before it gets dark, have some dinner, drink somewhere, then walk around and hit as many of the light shows as you possibly can down there. So
hey, while we're waiting for Mo to come on, I know we don't want to talk too much about the previous game and the game preview. So as an outsider to Cincinnati, who's not always there, shift focus for a second. What's the reaction been to Francona coming on as the Reds coach?
It's there's some energy in the fan base for sure. Him coming out of retirement maybe gives me a little bit of hope because God, I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail on this, Jamie, but Reds ownership, if I'm not mistaken, this ownership group I think has the worst record in Cincinnati baseball history. That ownership group is still here, but what gives me some positivity out of this, some hope, is Terry Francona coming back out of retirement.
Yeah,
he had to have asked for some guarantees on this to make sure he's successful in this environment with the Reds. So we'll see. We will.
All right. So Mo's in the waiting room. Tom, do you want to introduce our guest?
Absolutely. Go ahead and pop him on as I do it.
Okay. All right.
He is the only sports talk show host in Cincinnati with the work ethic, the talent, and the intelligence to follow Austin Elmore to the mic every day from 3 to 6 on 1530. You can judge a guy by the people he hangs out with. He hangs out with Dan Horde. He hangs out with Jim Kelly. He hangs out with Tony Pike, Bill Dennison, and fortunately for us, he's made time for us tonight. He can be heard every day from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1530 WCKY ESPN Radio in Cincinnati, and he can be seen on a regular basis at any Skyline Chili around Cincinnati. But his best title is Crosley's Dad, and he's busy nonstop, and we really thank Mo Egger for making time for us tonight.
Did you just associate me with work ethic and intelligence?
Isn't that why you sent me the 20?
That's all it took. That's right. Yes. You come cheap. Well, thanks for having me.
I told everybody he's way smarter than he looks. We'll find out here in a little bit. So how was the daughter's dance class? Did you go in there and dance with her, or did you just pick her up?
I just picked her up. We're not allowed to see what they do. They have the big performance in a few weeks. And so it's all a big secret. So my wife either does drop off or pick up, and I do the other. And tonight was my pickup night.
I get it. So as everybody's watching, we got Mo for the next probably 15, 18 minutes here. Make sure you type in any questions. We do have one of your stalkers here in the waiting room, in the chat area, Mo, Lisa Moran. So she has been like all day waiting in the waiting room to ask you questions. So Lisa, get those questions ready to go. But Tom will let you kick it off, buddy.
Mo, you can't win 3 games without getting to 2, and they did it. I don't know if it was necessarily a work of art, but you're supposed to win the games you're supposed to win. We haven't done that. Maybe we've done that now. The defensive line is healthier. Hopefully they'll be more cohesive this week and more disruptive. Do you think this team is in a position over the next 3 weeks to a month to go on a bit of a run and get back into the playoff fight?
I do. I'm really encouraged. And Jim will tell you, I'm rarely the person that you identify with unbridled optimism. But my take last week was I'm buying low on the Bengals because I'm buying that offensively they're going to continue to be really, really good, and defensively they only have to be okay. That's got to start somewhere, and it had to start soon. My hope is that it started against the New York Giants. And look, we could talk about who New York didn't have. They didn't have Malik Neighbors, didn't have Devin Singletary. They're not a great offense, but if we all acknowledge defensively they have to get better, 2 things had to happen. Number one, they did have to get healthier, and they did. Aside from Dax Hill, they're pretty whole right now on defense, especially up front. And number 2, they were going to have the sort of performance that you could build on, and they did that. Now, do they build upon it? Time will tell. But if you were looking for signs that, defensively, not only are they going to improve, but maybe they can win a game, perhaps against a better team down the road, in which the offense isn't at its best, maybe what we saw on Sunday was an indicator of that. I talked about this a little bit on my show this afternoon. Defenses can get better. the Bengals got to a Super Bowl 3 years ago because the defense got better. In the middle of the season, Mike White was scoring 34 points against it, and they were giving up 41 against the Browns and 41, I think, against the Chargers. But at the end of the year, different type of defense because they had brought in more players from outside. But by the end of the year, it looked like a pretty cohesive unit, and then it carried the team to an AFC championship. And I think the good news is, like, I look at what happened offensively Sunday in the grand scheme of the season, so far an outlier, right? They had a hard time protecting Joe. He held onto the ball a little bit long. And, you know, you're going to be monitoring how many hits he takes. He took, I think, seven hits on 29 dropbacks on Sunday night. That's not going to work. But I think we all believe, all right, this offense is okay. And so the defense has to rise to a certain level. Maybe it hasn't after one game, but it was going to start somewhere. If it ever happened, hopefully it started on Sunday night.
Yeah. And there's so much stuff we want to dig into. A lot of questions in the chat area. Make sure you get your questions typed in. We'll get to you guys here in a second. I want to talk about the backfield real quick. Mo, before the season started, we thought we know what we had with Chase Brown, and we got Zach Moss from the Indianapolis Colts, who the MO on him was like, hey, a good running back, picks up the blitz very well in the backfield there. But man, I'll tell you what, man, does it feel to you that every time, at least to me it does, every time Chase Brown touches the ball, you just feel he can take it to the house, and he finally took one, whatever it was, 30 yards. But man, do you foresee maybe Chase getting a couple more carries more than he has been? Because, man, he's really been doing well as he's been touching the ball.
How does he not, right? I mean, there's explosiveness. Like the word we all used when they decided to move on from Joe Mixon, nothing against Joe, who had a terrific game on Sunday. We all acknowledge phenomenal player while he was here, but you didn't see explosiveness. And so all off season long, and I'm sure you got the same question, why'd they let Joe Mixon go? Well, it's because they were looking for more explosiveness in the running game. Was Zach Moss going to give it to him? Well, he did on that check down against Carolina, which totally changed that game.
Right.
But Chase Brown gives it to you almost every single time he has the football in his hands. And there's just more that you can do with him. And there's more that you can do with him than you could do with Zach Moss. Now, the conversation might change if somebody recovers his fumble in a blue jersey on Sunday night. But, yeah, I mean, we saw glimpses of it last year. And one of the more puzzling things about last season was, why did it take him so long to get him on the field? And then kind of at the very end, it's almost like they forgot him. You can't forget him now. And every single time he gets the ball, you just think of all the ways they could get it to him even more. And so you see the explosiveness when he gets it. You know, a cousin of mine texted me during the Baltimore game, and it's like, they haven't had anybody like him, that as soon as he touches it, you're just waiting for something big to happen, right? And I think that's only going to merit him getting used more and more often. I do think it's interesting that Zach has kind of gone into Joe Mixon's old role of he's going to be on the field for pass protection. And so that's obviously an area where Chase Brown's going to have to improve, because you don't want to deploy the running backs in a way that when you know one's on the field, you know what the offensive play call is going to be. And it does kind of feel like it's trending a little bit in that direction.
Right. Tony?
Yeah, but you talked a little bit about the defense, and we got Cleveland coming up, and Cleveland's always been a thorn, at least for Burrow since he's been here. What do the defense, as they are improving, what do they specifically need to do to help control the ground game from Cleveland?
Well, I think it's be ready to defend the run 40 times. I mean, Deshaun Watson's been terrible. They traded away one of his pass receiving targets, and they're going to get Nick Chubb back. If I'm Kevin Stefanski, I got to figure out a way to make this a ground game. Now, to me, the way the Bengals can mitigate that is by jumping on them early, which I think could be a blast given just how toxic that relationship is between the fan base and the quarterback and them shoving Deshaun Watson down everybody's throat. But I think more mechanically, if you could tell the Cleveland Browns, cool, you're down by a couple of scores. Deshaun Watson hasn't put up more than 18 points in the game this season. Go ahead and see if you can beat us with your arm, big boy. In the absence of that, it's to me about just understanding it's not that unlike the Giants game, right? I mean, they weren't trying to reinvent offensive football. They completed a few short passes, but it was, we're going to run it against you. We're going to run it against you. We're going to run it against you. And so what was interesting about how, to me, the Bengals played defense, and Chris Collinsworth talked about this on the broadcast, Lou Anarumo played pretty much a preseason August defense, right? We're going to line up basically in a in a 4-3 and just see if we could tackle your guys in open space, which they did. I said this to Paul Dehner Jr. on his podcast this morning because I'm a great podcast guest. I said that the thing to me that stood out about the defensive performance was how good the tackling was, right? Think back to the Patriots game. The tackling was terrible.
It's been bad all year. It's been bad all year.
Yeah, so like it was significantly better against the New York Giants. We could talk X's and O's and schemes and all that stuff, but when you hit the guy, bring the guy to the ground, or at least slow the guy up enough that other people can bring him to the ground. They did that against the Giants. But in terms of what to expect, I cannot imagine that Kevin Stefanski is thinking, all right, with this quarterback, without one target in Amari Cooper that got traded away, we're going to try to beat the Bengals by throwing it 45 times. That doesn't make any sense. And so it's get ready to try to slow down Nick Chubb. And, again, the best way to mitigate that is score enough points that they decide, well, we're not going to be able to do this. We're going to have to try to throw. And the Deshaun Watson that I've watched this year is not capable of doing that.
No. Well, I hope he's a quarterback up there, Mo, for the next 10 years. I think he looks outstanding. Go ahead, Jamie. What do you got, bud?
Well, he'll be paid for the next 10 years. All right. A couple viewer questions for you, Mo. Craig's asking, do pros have long-term memory of the two absolute embarrassments played up on the lake going into Cleveland? Can they forget about those and go out and play this game without that hanging over them?
Would like to think so.
Hey, Craig's a buddy of ours. He's probably drinking. He's somewhere in the Caribbean drinking right now. So I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Well,
good question.
I'll tell you this. I so poorly remembered the game 2 years ago that I wanted to look up when was the last time the Bengals were favored in Cleveland, because it wasn't last year. They were, I think, a 1-point underdog. I didn't remember them being favorites in that game on Halloween 2 years ago, and they were like 3.5-point favorites. So that tells you how poorly I remember that game. Look, the reality is that's going to dog them until they go up there and win a game. That is a fair question until the Bengals make it not a fair question. I am curious as to whether the Cleveland Browns can figure out a way to take things that the New York Giants did up front and cause problems for Joe Burrow. They obviously have an all-world guy in Myles Garrett. But it felt to me like, number one, Joe held onto the ball a little bit too long. And number two, just the whole offensive operation. I felt like the Giants made it look clunky because they weren't, and far be it from me to try to be the guy who could tell you how offensive line play works, but it felt like they were doing some stuff at the snap of the football that was requiring the Bengals to make some adjustments on the offensive line. Like they had Mike Gesicki try to block Brian Burns. I cannot for the life of me imagine that Dan Pitcher and Zach Taylor have a play where that's the idea. And so I do worry from a defensive perspective, can they find some things that made Joe uncomfortable against New York and apply them to what they're doing on Sunday? But look, man, if they're ever going to get one up there, they're 1-5. Their offense is historically bad. The fans up there are more focused on baseball right now, and understandably so. Everybody's out on Jimmy Haslam. I've got to think there are players in that locker room who are like, what are we doing still playing Deshaun Watson? If you're ever going to get one up there, this is the one to get. And so I hope to God on Sunday night we're not talking about the continuation of a streak, because this really does represent their best chance to go up there and get a victory. And I hope the players and by the way, I focus on this maybe more than others. It's a healthy Bengals team right now, right? Like, reading about, and I love him because he's a former Bearcat, but Jerome Ford's not going to play. Like, we all wish Dax Hill was healthy, but beyond that, holy crap, this team's really, really healthy, remarkably healthy for this stage of the season. So you have to take advantage of that. The Bengals last year went to Cleveland with their quarterback not healthy. Yep. They went to Cleveland on Halloween 2 years ago. Yep. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's the game where Jamar Chase got hurt.
Yeah, it was
had to miss the next 4. They're going to Cleveland with not just the better team, the healthier team, and I think that matters.
Yeah, and I think you're right. On the offensive line for the Browns, I know they lost their starting center this past week. I think they lost their backup center as well. So you would hope with a healthy defensive front, we might be able to cause some havoc in the running game there. But Tom, you got another one, bud?
I'm going to give Mo 2 quick ones, and one of which I just asked.
And a couple David more viewer ones when you're done.
Okay.
Just asked David Fulcher, and Mo mentioned he he listened to the TV broadcast. I made the mistake of not synchronizing and listening to Dan and Dave. But were you aware that Daniel Jones was hurt last year and made a remarkable comeback? It came up 158 times during the broadcast Sunday night.
It was a theme of the broadcast, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was.
We're going to get David Fulcher back on and get an intervention with Chris. It's out of control.
Well, David Fulcher and I are at odds this week because his Sun Devils play my Bearcats. But
that came up too.
It was it was a recurring theme, and so much so that I asked a buddy of mine, I'm like, I remember a lot of the offseason storylines. Daniel Jones coming off his deathbed to play for the New York Giants was not one of them. And like, I get it, he was hurt, but so was our guy, and our guy's playing better. So that was a recurring theme and I like Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth, but that was brought up a lot.
So hold on, real quick, because I'm gonna send this cut to Chris. Tom, what did you say? He's got to answer the higher ups or something. What do you think? I don't agree with that, but that's what you said earlier, right?
Well, I'm sure he's got a producer, and I'm sure they have things they go over with, and he's got a voice in his ear during the game. But my good, we got the message. The other good one was after Chase Brown runs for the winning touchdown to break the Giants' defensive back. It was, what a run. Nice blocking by the Bengals offensive line. But I'm so proud of this Giants defense tonight. You've got to be proud of this Giants defense. Let's, hey, top market in the USA, we're going to keep you happy. But the other thing, though, Mo, is going up to Cleveland. Some of Joe Burrow's new toys. This is a little bit for the future of the franchise, too. But when you talk about a Chase Brown, and, certainly there have been some picks we've missed on, but Chase Brown, I think Eric All is going to be our starting tight end for the next 8 to 10 years. Do you see these guys chipping in the rest of the year and being big and even bigger pieces if we can make that playoff push?
Yeah, and, you talk about the future. I'm not giving up on Jermaine Burton either, because I'm never going to give up on athleticism and talent. Now, does the kid get it and do what he needs to do to be a pro? I don't know, but I'm always this early in someone's career. I'm going to wager on the raw athletic ability and hope that the rest of the other stuff can catch up. Eric All feels like the tight end they've been looking for my entire adult life. Like, I'm not sure what, as a Cincinnati sports fan, I've spent more time wondering if we could have a leadoff hitter for the Reds or a tight end who can do everything. They've had good tight ends. I mean, they've had, Drew Sample's a good tight end. Hell, he got a second contract to be a blocking tight end, and they've had
a guy like this since Rodney Holman.
Right. I mean, they've had, CJ Uzamo's a good tight end for the role he was asked to be in, and Hayden Hurst was a good tight end for the role he was asked to be in. And that 1 year, 2015, Tyler Eifert had a really productive year, but they haven't had like a homegrown guy that, like, as a rookie, it feels like he's got the entire set of tools. And so what that looks like, even just year two, I'm really excited to see, because, like, you just watch him, you just look at him and you're like, stud. And we interviewed his tight ends coach at Iowa's Abdul Hodge, who played linebacker for the Bengals. He's the tight ends coach at Iowa. And one of the things that we like to do is, after the draft, get on the players' position coaches, which is a little more tricky because the players bounce around now, but because they're the ones that have the real close relationship with them. And, I asked Abdul Hodge, I go, you coach Sam Laporta. And before I could get it out, he's like, Eric All might be better. Like, I didn't get, and I mean, think about Sam Laporta's good. And he's like, can just do a little bit more. He's just better. And, at Iowa, he got hurt in October, kind of this time of year, and so never got to finish the season. But I'm no evaluator of talent, but, like, there are just certain guys you watch and you're like, that guy's going to be really, now, is he going to be Rob Gronkowski or Travis Kelce in terms of raw production? He plays on a team right now that has too many other dudes to get involved, but when it's near him, he catches it. It always feels like he delivers the right block when he's asked. And it seems like they could ask him to keep doing more. And so that's the player that I'm most excited about. And then, you mentioned Chase Brown. I think it's kind of the fun part of this team. They've got some established players, and then they've got some guys that look like moving forward are going to be a part of, whatever they do into the next decade. And it makes for a really fun and really interesting mix.
James, let's do another viewer question or two, and we'll let
You're fine. I got a few minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, sure. This is what I was thinking of the other day watching the game. Lisa's asking, do you see a better option than Jones on punt returns? It seems like there should be.
Yeah, Jermaine Burton.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like just athletically, like I know they value you got to catch the ball, right? Going back when Brandon Tate, the previous regime, was the punt return man, and they had Adam Jones, who was far more electrifying, and the coaches would say, yeah, but Brandon Tate catches the football. Like, awesome. But at some point, you are looking for somebody who can give them a little bit more punch. And they tried it in the preseason, in that, I think it was the Chicago game. There was Jermaine Burton back there. And so if you're going to give him a reasonable chance to show athletically what he can do and help the team, and the wide receiver position itself is kind of crowded, and you're just looking for a little bit more explosiveness, that's the answer. Now, they may view Charlie as just more reliable, but there's just a lot of East-West, and I'd like to see a little bit more North-South.
Yeah, Mo, I think you hit I don't want to get into a whole lot of conversation about this, but I think you're right. You just hit on something. I think obviously trust Jones more than, as of today. It seems like Jordan Battle is in the doghouse a little bit. It looks like he's getting worked in a little bit more now and performing like we hoped he would. They obviously trust Jones more than Burton for whatever reason. I don't get to see all these practices, but at some point, you're right, though. You got to let the athlete be an athlete, get him out there and let him make plays. But
yeah, and which, by the way, sounds great until you put him back there, and I'm a UC fan, so game one of this year, Michael Musari muffs a punt, and you hate it's his first college moment, but it's a reminder. It's like, it doesn't matter what all these guys can do if they can't ensure that you get possession of the football, and so that's a big part of it. But I just like again, Jermaine Burton. So much has been said about maybe he just isn't quite what they are looking for at this moment from a maturity and professionalism standpoint. But if you're trying to figure out, okay, where can we take advantage of his raw athletic ability? I mean, he's not going to get a lot of wide receiver reps the way they're built right now. So is there room for him returning punts? I'm going to wonder that until Charlie Jones gives me a reason not to.
Right. James, let's throw out one more viewer question.
Yeah, we've had a few people ask this, just looking towards the Cleveland game, knowing that they've traded away a couple of the weapons here. Is Chubb going to be limited coming off the injury, or are they going to run him knowing they need to run him?
I'm not sure they have a choice.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, to me, if you clear a player of that caliber, I mean, he's not going to carry it 45 times, but I mean, if you clear a player of that caliber and you determine he's going to play, and your season is, it's twisting in the wind and that's being kind, then he's out there to get a full workload. Now, not a 1983 full workload where running backs carried it 1,000 times a game, but like a full workload, and then sort of let the game dictate, when you could rest him, when you could, put him on the bench for a series. But I would imagine, and I'm sure we'll know more because, Wednesday is when you start finding out a little bit more about what coaches are planning for the week. I would imagine they go into this game with him, the expectation that Nick Chubb takes on a full workload. And if the answer to that is, well, no, not so much, awesome. Because then Deshaun Watson's going to throw more. And so far this year, this is indisputable that it hasn't worked. So there's no reason to think it will continue if that's what they have to do on Sunday.
Well, Mel, brother, we'll let you go. We appreciate you making time, picking up the daughter from dance and everything else you're doing around the city, brother. It means a lot.
Anytime.
You're one of the best, brother. You're one of the best, man. We appreciate you being with us, buddy.
One day I want you to release your all-time guest power rankings and see how low on the list I am. And I won't be hurt because you have some great guests. Thanks for having me, guys.
See you, Mo. Have a good one.
Mo, thanks, man. Who did?
You got to love Mo, man. His personality is a trip, man. So,
are we doing 2-minute warning still? I wasn't on.
Let's just stop. Let's go. Let's go ahead and roll out of here. I am beat. I got home really late last night. Not feeling great. But let's go and kick it off.
You can do that. James is out freezing his butt off on the streets of Covington with fine art and you're whining about sleep.
Yeah.
Jamie, get us out of here.
Jimmy's got the sniffles, guys. Let's just.
Oh, God.
Tony, kick us off. These two guys right here. With friends like these. You know.
Had a great time at in New York, New Jersey. So I appreciate these folks for hosting us for the game.
Beaties, yeah.
Stuff, and it was a lot of fun there. So appreciate them, and I'm looking forward to going up to Cleveland and finally breaking this streak that we got going on and beating them and coming home with a dub. So Who Dey.
Jamie?
Yeah, you know what? Just the little thing underneath our names here, we can write a little whatever we want to put in there. Jimmy says, keep stacking those dubs. That's what the Bengals need to do. It's 1 week at a time. I predict we're going to be 7-4 going into the bye. I think we're going on a run. I'm looking forward to it. But week by week, game by game. But this team's going to be fun to watch if they can come back from this abysmal start to the season and turn it around.
Would be.
Tom?
Hey, thanks, buddy. Like I said to Mo, you can't get to 3 without 2, and the only thing that matters is a win on Sunday, and it's not going to be a gimme. Myles Garrett, I think, is the most destructive defensive player that the NFL has had since Lawrence Taylor was in his prime, and he always does seem to get to Joe, and he'll be after it. Definitely after it Sunday. I think the Bengals win because we have a better quarterback and a better overall team. And if we go up and play our best game, there's no doubt we'll win, and we absolutely have to. So keep the faith. If you're driving up 71, please be safe and get the win against the Lake Erie Elves. Jimmy?
Well, one thing we failed to mention, Tom, if you look over Jamie's right shoulder, he was air frying chicken wings before we came on here.
Okay, guys.
He's got an air fryer there.
Look, this is the Price is Right, okay?
Hey, hold on. Did anybody get Jamie his cooler?
I'm still waiting on the cooler, man. Must be the duty to ship it up here. I'm at home in my yeah. Okay, I gotta get the green screen back. I'm embarrassed to be on here with my. By the way, I have 3 air fryers. I'm not even kidding, guys. I'm a sucker for sales, man.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. A lot of fun. Mo Eggers is awesome. Guys, look, keep the faith, man. Beat the Brownies this weekend up in Cleveland. Come home with a chance to go 4-4 against the Philadelphia Eagles on October 27th, man. But we appreciate you guys. Thanks for being with us. We love you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday. Who Dey, everybody.
Who Dey.
Who Dey.